Hello everyone, this is Lich here, and today's video is inspired by milkybk. He make a video about this build, so I will link his video on the descriptions. And this build is revolving around volatile zombie, sacrifice, and jungle queen chaps with experimental affix, which make every time you use potions, you're going to summon 6 volatile zombie. I mean, depending on the tier, the highest tier, you're going to summon 6 volatile zombie. And for all the demonstration you see on the screen, all demonstration is done in the corruptions 830. This is very powerful build, but it does require you to have a certain unique. In this case, you will need a jungle queen chap with experimental affixes on it. So how you get this one is using temporal sanctums. You need jungle queen chap with at least 1 LP, and you will need experimental affix. I would suggest at least tier 6 or tier 7. And you will try to combine them, and hopefully you're able to transfer the experimental affix into the jungle queen chap. You will need this build in order to start this build. So it's not a very easy build to start with, but if you're able to get this item, this build is really fun. You have a lot of damage. The defense is okay. You still get a ton of ward. I've been playing with this build like around 2-3 days. And it's really good. I push from 0 to 800 corruptions really fast. So let's begin with all the build. So number 1, we're talking about the skills that are going to be used. So let's begin with the skill. Number 1 is the volatile zombie. We will take the file force. This will make you, every time your zombie die, it will create a 2 parasites. And we're also going to take Shepherd of the Charles. This is going to make every time your zombie dies, you're going to summon Secret of Vanguard. In this note, if you do not able to have, I have 22 here. If you cannot get 22, the note that you can drop is Revenues and Pull Off the Grave. These 2 you can discard off. I mean, you lose kill threshold, but you can replace it in the transplant because the rest of the 3 is kind of mandatory. So if you need to remove a point, it will be Revenues and Pull Off the Grave. So for the second is the sacrifice. So for the sacrifice, 3 point into necrotic audience and 5 point into sanguine libations. This node basically make you sacrifice chain, and because we have a lot of minions to sacrifice, the chain actually works really well. And then we go for soul shatter. I put 3 point in here, and I end up putting extra point on Altar of Flame, but you can actually bring back the 1 point back into the soul shatter. The reason why I'm doing this because I'm trying to reduce the mana cost, but it seems kind of futile because considering the amount of minion you will sacrifice and the amount of sacrifice cast, I don't think you can mitigate the mana. So the mana will be a big problem of the build just because you cast that many sacrifice. So taking Soul Shatter will have an access to Punishment, will give 45% damage against bleeding. The bleeding we get from Sanguine Libations. This not really great sacrifice, is basically just give more damage. Let's say this one is 60% damage. Pontifex is damage per minion because we have a lot of minions, like small minions. This not end up being increase the damage a lot. And that's for the sacrifice. The next one will be the Reaper form. And for Reaper form, it's pretty standard. We're going to take Mistress of Decay, a Strapper Point, and we're going to take Soul Shroud. This will give armor per intelligence. Fire Shroud is probably one node that you can kind of drop depending on did your gear cover auto necrotic or poison resistance. If your gear able to cover this point will not be quite necessary. And the next one is Elixir of Death. This is very important. This especially topple the effect of your potions, and because we also use a item that convert potions to ward, this especially gives us a lot of ward by using the potions. And 4 point to Soul for Soul is increased damage. Reaper's Curse, this is also to increase damage and critical chance. We are critical builds, so we want as many critical chance as possible. That comes quickly. This gives swiftness. This kind of nice in the echo. This make you move faster, a little bit faster. Rapid destructions, 3 on this node. This is going to give 30% cast speed, which is very important because we're going to need to spam a lot of reblood to give us a lot of flat spell damage. And that will be the 4th skill that we're going to use, the reblood. And the most important node here is Arcane Absorptions. This is going to give us 8 spell damage on hit every time we cast the Rip Blood. The faster you can cast, the more spell damage you can pull up. This is why we are trying to get as much as possible. 1 into Rich Spirit, 1 into Arcane Fortress is basically to convert the Blood Orbs into giving ward instead of health. And 5 into Hemomancer. This increases cast speed because we need to cast a lot because of absorptions. And Stance of Blood, 5% cast speed. This is also allowing you to focus your minion onto one target. Quenching, this is going to give extra health and also increase the speed of the blood orbs. Mana Feast, this is very important. This make blood orbs now also give you mana. The idea is when you spam your rip blood, you can keep generating mana, so you can keep trigger sacrifice. The last one is Hematology, and this basically increase the health restore per intelligence. So per everybody get 5% extra. This actually make you able to stack quite a lot of war. The last one is Transplant. This one is pretty straightforward. 3 in the fleeting form. This is cast speed and cooldown recovery. And this 2 is travel node, and we get the bone armor. This 2 is increase the bone armor effect, and this one increase the bone armor durations. Simulacrum, this every time you transplant, you leave a bone minion. But the most important one is the transfusions. This basically make you can transplant to your minion and sacrifice them. And the sacrifice that you trigger this way is also following the sacrifice from 3. So it's just an extra way to trigger the sacrifice. In this one, we have Accurate Favor, very standard. This is Hasten Frenzy, Dance of the Blood. This is every time you transplant, you automatically cast Rip Blood at the enemy when you depart. And for the passive point, for the Acolyte, we will put 8 points into Forbidden Knowledge. They're going to give us 80 intelligence. And we also take Mania of Mortality and Stolen Vitality. These 2 nodes, it really depends on you which one you want to put more. I choose to put more point into Mania of Mortality because it gives us ward on nearby death. This one is not just your minion, but also your enemy. Basically, any that occur around you will have a 10% chance to give you 130 wards. In my testing, this gives a lot of wards, so that's the reason why I'm put more point on this one. But you can definitely also put point on this one. This is going to give us Vitality and minion health. I think minion health also going to scale up the damage from the sacrifice. For the Necromancer, we will give 5 for Elixir of Hunger. This make every time you use potions, you will get Hunger, which grant 10% attack speed and 10% cast speed. 5 into Reclamation of Soul. This gives 35 ward on minions dead, which we have a lot of minion dead, which meaning this is going to give us a lot of ward. 1 into Blood Armor to unlock the Mortal Tether. This is going to increase the minion health. And 1 point into Mark of Punishment. And this node is really, really powerful. This basically make every time your minions die, you have a 10% chance to mark nearby enemy with Mark for Death, which reduce the resistance by 25. And this is a huge node. Don't forget to take this one. For the Warlock, we will put 5 into Soul Stealer. This is going to give us 20% mana regen, which we will need. It's also going to give us mana gain. Every time we hit enemy that we already cursed. I mean, this is a chances, but the mana gain is really, really nice. And we also put 8 points into Occultist Mind. This is going to give us 8 intelligence, but the most important thing is it's going to give us 1 mana per intelligence, which is really nice. For the Lich, we will begin with 10% to Apocrypha. This is going to give us 10% intelligence and 20% mana regens, which is huge. That's with that. This is going to give us 40% increased damage. There is an option for you to not taking Dance with that, but instead taking Survival of the Crew. If you take the Survival of the Crew, it's going to give you health, 5 per point, so it is around 40 point flat health, which is quite good. 2 point into Harvest Legion. This is just a filler node, and it's going to give you a chance to summon a Skeleton Vanguard. This is just more minion to sacrifice. The next one, we're going to put 8 point into Cryptic Insight. This is very, very powerful node. It's going to give us 16 intelligence. The reduced health regeneration doesn't really matter because we are ward built. And 8 point into Tree Plague. This is going to give us 24% physical penetrations. 5 point into Deathbringer, going to give us attack, cast speed, and critical strike chance. 5 point into Dark Ward. This is going to give us critical strike chance and ward gain on critical strike. 5 point into Clairvoyant Insight. This is going to give us critical multiplier by 50%. And this 5 point Ageless Ascetic. This is optional. For me, I take this one because it gives cast speed, it gives movement speed. It also gives Lich, which in Echo is really, really nice. But another place I think you can put this 5 point. Let example, like if you take Survival of the Crew, this means you already have your leads from here. You can move your 5 point into something like Mental Cacophony. They're going to give you more mana and more ward attentions. Or in this case, also you can also put the rest of the point into Necrotic Energy, which is going to give you flat spell damage. So this 5 point, you can put it whenever you want. And I think that's all about the passive point. And for the items, we will begin with the unique first. So the first unit you're going to need, and this is what enabled the build, is Jungle Queen Chap with experimental affix in it. And the experimental affix is basically make you summon 6 Volatile zombie on potion use. It's depending on the tier. The highest tier you can get, you're going to summon 6 Volatile zombie. So if possible, try to get as high a tier as possible on the Jungle Queen Chap. And this is where it will be the main item that you will need to start the build. And the next, we will use Cycle of Persistence. And this is for the rings. This one basically make your Volatile zombie have a chance to resurrect, equal to 100% divided by your number of zombie. And for the weapon, we will go with Mad Alchemist Ladle. And this will give us a lot of negative elements, and it's also going to give us 6% more spell damage depending on how many negative elements you inflict on the enemy. Maximum is 8. And the most important one is 1% increased cast speed per 2 intelligence. This is going to give us a lot of cast speed, and 1 mana gain on potion use for per 4 intelligence. And this is going to give us a little bit of mana whenever we use a potion, which we always use. For the relic, we're going to use Twisted Heart of Chaos. This is going to give us +1 to necrotic spell and +1 to elemental spell. And this is the reason why we take Altar of Flame in Sacrifice Node, because it will give it fire attack, which make it elemental skill. So it's going to give us, it's going to get the +1 too. And the most important stat is, of course, 15% increased cast speed. I think this go up to 16, so get as high as possible if you can. For the last unit that I use, this one is not mandatory, but I personally use it because it's make things a lot easier, and this is Omnis. And Omnis give us +1 to all skills, and it give us bunch of resistance. And like I said, the reason why I'm using this amulet just because it's easier for me to fill up all the resistances, but you definitely do not need it to work. And for the helmet, the prefix you're looking for is intelligence and minion health, or physical spell critical chance. In this particular helmet that I use, I have one seal affixes, which is summon the Volatile zombie if possible to this one. If it's not, it's really not mandatory. Like I said, if you don't have enough point in the zombie, you can cut off the kill trash. You can remove a note that I explained earlier. For the body armor, number 1, you want a plus level to sacrifice. Get as high as you can. If possible, go to +4. And the second stat, either physical spell critical strike chance or minion health. And for the suffixes, it's the same. Health, resistances, critical strike avoidance, anything you need. For the offhand catalyst, this is the one that you have to do it in the particular base. You will want Crystal Skull. And this is the reason because this base gives us flat spell critical strike chance, which is huge. We are crit build. And for the prefixes, you want critical strike multiplier and spell critical strike chance. For the suffixes, as usual, all the resistances. I think in often you can only craft resistances. So get a resistance in here, any resistance that you need. And for the glove, for the prefix, you want intelligence, medium health. For the suffixes, resistances, health, armor, and in this case, I put chance to shred armor on hit. This is just to push a little bit more DPS, but you don't have to. And for the boots, this is also another experimental affix that you will need, which is minion teleport around you after you use a traversal skill. This especially when you transplant, you're going to carry some of your minion, which can explode around you, which make the run a lot safer. For the prefix, you want movement speed, intelligence. And for the suffixes, you want cooldown recovery, armor, resistances, and that's about the items. And for the idols, huge idol is potion convert to ward, and physical spell critical strike chance. And potion health convert to ward, you try to hit as close to 100%. So you basically convert all your potions into ward because of the report form node that going to double your potions. Your potion going to give you a lot of ward, which basically what you keep you alive. For the stout idol, I go for potion health convert to ward and elemental resistances. This is just to cap resistances. There's an option you can either go for 2 huge idol, or you can do it like me with 2 small idol and 1 huge idol. And for the large idol, I go for potion ward on potion use, and of course another stat will be physical spell critical strike chance. And for the small one, this is especially just to give physical resistances. This is how I kept my physical resistances. And I think that's all about the idol and the items. And for the play style itself, it's very simple. You get into your map, you activate your Reaper forms. Don't forget about it, because Reaper forms also give you extra armor, which makes you a lot more sturdy. And you press your potions, you summon a bunch of zombies, they're going to attack the enemy, and trigger the sacrifice, explode, and so on and so forth. You don't necessarily always have to use the potions. You can summon your Volatile zombie on your own. That still works. It's just you have to be a little bit careful, because your life is not so much. And when you use potion, you can ward that make you safe. But when you're not using potions, you actually very squishy. So at least you need to be a little bit careful if you're not using potion at the first, but it's still doable. So you don't really have to worry too much if you run out of potions, because the build is still function without it. It's just a lot slower. And the other options also, if you're running out of potions, you can just kill yourself with the echo, and when you come back, you're going to have full potions. Another option is to move to a different zone. Like say you teleport to Bazaar and you teleport back to your to the monolith, you will have a full slot of potion again. So that's how you refill your potions. For the jungle queen chap, there is affixes that are going to give you a chance to find potions. I haven't tried, but it seems nice, because in this build, basically the more potion you have, the better. The easier you get the potion, the easier life will be. So that's probably what I'm trying to get next. If I'm able to get for the zombie and the chance to find potions, I think that will be nice. Really make the build a lot easier to play, a lot more smooth. And I think that's all I have for you today. And all the showcase I will leave for you to watch. And if you like the video, please consider to like and subscribe. That will help the channel a lot. And I'll see you in the next one.